paragraph justification can be used to change the look of a document, improve readability, or adjust certain parts of the document as well, so they stand out. We're going to explore paragraph justification using HR1 doc, and as you can see, we're looking at page 1 here, where we have 2 lines of text, a title, which seems to be flush with the left margin, or left justified. We might want to change this to center justification, let's say. To do that, we simply select our text. Let's go into the left margin. We will click and drag down to highlight both lines. The quick formatting that pops up here does not apply to paragraph justification. So we need to go to the paragraph section of the ribbon with the Home tab selected. In here you'll see 4 options: left, center, right, and full, or what we call justify. So let's go through these right now. The first one is selected or highlighted, indicating that indeed our 2 lines are left justified. The keyboard shortcut to make that happen is Ctrl-L. As we hover over this, you can see left alignment is most commonly used for body text and does make the document a little bit easier to read. This is a title, however, so as we move over to the next icon, you can see the keyboard shortcut for centering is Ctrl-E. This is great for formal appearances, such as what we would see on cover pages, quotes, and like we have here, titles or headings. So let's give it a click. Now you can see both lines are centered between the 2 margins. Now we are using default margins of 1 inch here, so everything is centered on the page between those equal margins. The other option that we see here next is right align. Ctrl-R is a keyboard shortcut for that. We wouldn't use that for our title. We might use right alignment in things like headers and footers, little pieces of text. And then we have something called justify. I like to call this full justification. Ctrl and J is the keyboard shortcut. You'll often see this in newspaper columns, for example. It creates a clean look on the page, clean crisp edge, and it does make it a little bit more difficult to read but easier to look on the page. So let's move down to the second page of our document. Where do we have a letter to our customer? We'll click and drag over all of this content to select it, and next we will go up here and experiment with some other justifications. Let's just click right. Obviously that makes no sense whatsoever for this particular piece of text. So let's go to the next one over, which is full or justify. You can see what's happened now. We've gone from left to full, and down the left hand side of our text you'll notice a nice clean crisp justification with the left margin. We also see that on the right hand side with our paragraph. Let's just click the deselect to get a good feel. So what's happened here is that extra spaces have been inserted between the words of a paragraph here to stretch it out. So it goes from margin to margin. Not keen on that? You'd rather have the old formal look? Let's reselect our text and go back up and select left justify, or use your keyboard shortcut Ctrl-L. Notice now we're just flush with the left margin, and down the right hand side we have that jagged look, which allows a better readability and a more formal look. So depending on what text you are working on in a document and the type of document you're working on, various paragraph justifications will apply. We'll see more of this a little bit later on, for example, when we get into creating headers and footers.